Welcome to Practical Caravan TV, your weekly fix of all things caravanning. As ever, we've got plenty of caravan reviews, tow car tests and campsite visits. So whatever you do, don't touch that dial. Now, it's fair to say that everybody knows, and probably many people love, Bailey's Unicorn range. It's been their most successful caravan lineup since its launch and accounts for 60% of its total caravan output. But the Bristol-based manufacturer knows better than anyone that you won't get anywhere by standing still. So for 2018, there's a brand new Unicorn range, and here it is in the shape of the Seville, with many new changes for the incoming model year. Least of all, an amazing new front panel that dispenses with the somewhat enigmatic smile of the previous version into something as cutting edge as this one. Now, the cleaner look extends to the branding. There's a new logo here and a new badge, very sharp indeed. And up above the windows, these new moulded panels to replace the stickers. These go really well with the black grab handles. And talking about a unified theme, look at this cover for the A-frame, very sharp indeed. And yes, of course, there is Alco's ATC anti-snaking system for maximum reassurance when towing on the road. Now for the new range, Bailey continues with its well-regarded Alutech body shell construction system, and just like the previous version, it has hard-wearing GRP sides. The graphics have been simplified a little bit too. Check out this B, which is smaller than the previous version, and this colour palette up here is a borrow from Bailey's upmarket autograph range of motorhomes. And talking about keeping it in the family, check out the unified back panel. What does that mean? Well, every single model in the range has this one on the back, and also the way that they've integrated the colours of the surrounds of the lights and the grab handle is another great nod to that black and white piano theme. So far, so very good on the outside, but as the old song has it, it's what's on the inside that counts. So let's see what awaits us inside the brand new Seville. Now, with these high gloss locker facings, eucalyptus cabinet work, Brompton soft furnishings, and not to mention the chocolate drop-in carpets, the new Seville lounge has a very appealing look. It's worth mentioning while we're talking about carpets that there is lighting at floor level to guide you along in those darker moments, but you would have to be 6.5 feet tall to be able to see over the overhead lockers and the ambient lighting, and that is a headroom that runs the whole length of the van. But the lounge is also improved in other ways, not the least of which being that the seat benches are 5% longer. So how has Bailey done this? Simple, only by getting rid of one of my favourite features from previous versions of this range. Yes, the front shelf with the integrated centre chest has gone, basically to facilitate these longer twin single beds if used in that way. Obviously I'm not too happy about that, but I'll happily concede this point just this once. Now, another change in the lounge, but one I wholeheartedly approve of, is the fitting of a DAB radio with Bluetooth connectivity here in the front. And you'll also notice that the speakers face into the lounge instead of being mounted on the underside of a locker and facing down into nothing. Very good point indeed. And while I'm here, check out these USB sockets on the front of the spotlight. Very clever indeed, and helpful pockets on the walls so you can dangle your smartphones and tablets into these pockets while you're charging them. And another measure that will absolutely delight four-season caravanners, and as we know there are plenty of them, is that the Aldi heating now has improved performance. It takes 20 minutes less to warm up. How good is that? Now, in addition to the twin single beds, you can also make up this whopping double, and it operates in time-honoured fashion. You pull out the slats from under the centre chest and rearrange the seating, and as you can see, the seat backs go at the edges. But you'll find the greatest amount of changes in the new Seville at the back of the caravan, not least the washroom. It's actually moved from being all across the back to the corner, just like this, and very commodious it is too. Now, there's definitely space to get past the swivel loo into the shower stall in the corner, and while you're there you'll notice the handy hanging rail that drops down from the top, and that's in addition to the caddy for storing lotions and potions while you're under the spray. Next to that is a vanity unit and all the other accoutrements you'll find in Bailey's upmarket autograph motorhome range, including an extremely fetching sink and not to mention a proper laundry closet. Now the other big change, of course, concerns the kitchen. Previously this was a midships unit just behind the lounge on the offside. Now it has been moved into the near side rear corner in L-shaped configuration. All very good. But there are a couple of clever things Bailey has added in that are particularly noteworthy. Check this lid out. It actually has a wooden layer on top of it, which actually harmonises with the rest of the work surface, so greatly increasing the amount of preparation space. Take the sink drainer out of the equation and you get even more. All pretty good. You get a couple of soft closing drawers, overhead lockers and a separate oven and grill. And that's in addition to the de rigueur skinny fridge here on the offside and also a microwave oven. And talking about storage, there's a full length wardrobe and a rather large dresser unit here, ideal for plonking a TV on. Now, even with all these improvements, the Bailey Unicorn 4 Seville is 40 kilograms lighter than its predecessor. It has an all-up weight of 1,330 kilograms, which makes an 85% match of 1,130 kilograms, so you can tow this van with the likes of a VW Golf. Now, Bailey won't say anything about prices. It's keeping its cards close to its chest at the moment, but it seems fair to assume that there will be a price premium. This new range has been a year in development and is chock full of new goodies. So if you're a couple that likes to keep things upmarket on tour and you don't mind a make-up bed, then you should certainly have a look at one of these in the autumn. Now, as the name suggests, the Seville is as tasty as a bowl full of oranges and probably just as good for you.
Sometimes you get what you pay for. Other times you get a bit more than you expect. Take the new Vauxhall Insignia Sports Tourer. Give or take a few millimetres, it's the same size as an Audi A6 Avant, but prices start from under £19,000. Even our high-spec 2-litre diesel test car has a list price of just over £24,000. So, it's keenly priced, but is it any good as a tow car?
We're driving the 168 bhp 2-litre diesel in Techline nav specification. It has a curb weight of 1,633 kilograms. We've matched it to a Swift Expression 636 with a mass in running order of 1,417 kilos.
The 2-litre diesel has 295 pounds-feet of torque. That's more pulling power than many of the Insignia's rivals, and it shows in the way the car accelerates. Even with the big twin-axle Swift behind it, it can pull from 30 to 60 miles per hour in just 11.8 seconds.
The lane change manoeuvre proved a stern test for the Vauxhall. Relatively soft suspension allowed a lot of lean, and we could feel the Caravan pushing and shoving at the back of the car, although gusty winds won't have helped the Insignia's cause.
Our test car has Flex Ride, an £800 option. This gives the driver the choice of Tour, Normal and Sport settings for the suspension. We found the normal setup strikes the best balance of comfort and control while towing, although in fairness, whichever setting is chosen, there's been a little side-to-side movement when towing in what are admittedly very windy conditions.
If you need to slow down in a hurry, the Insignia's brakes are up to the job, stopping car and caravan from 30 miles per hour in 10.6 metres on a damp track. Inside, there's little sign of corners being cut to build down to a price, with a stylish and well-finished cabin. There's plenty of space up front and a good range of adjustment for the driver's seat and steering wheel. Rear seat space is much improved compared with the old Insignia, and even with the optional panoramic sunroof, there's enough room for adults. Vauxhall admits that the old model lost sales because luggage space wasn't generous enough. That's less likely to be a problem for today's car, with a 560-litre capacity with the seats upright, rising to 1,665 litres with them folded.
The low price is one of the main reasons to consider the Insignia, but it's by no means the only one. It's not quite as secure at speed as a Skoda Superb or a Volkswagen Passat, but it's not far off. And there's lots of room for passengers and their luggage, making this a very practical family car.
Since 2012, the design of Coachman's flagship single-axle range, the VIP, has soldiered on largely unchanged. That's no bad thing. It was a fine-looking van, if somewhat traditional. But time waits for no man, and this is the all-new 2018 VIP. There have been some pretty significant alterations. For a start, It's available as both a single axle and a twin axle, with the old Laser name being consigned to the history books. But perhaps more fundamentally, it looks completely different. It's still recognisably a VIP with those strong vertical pillars and the grey roof rails running the length of the roof, but it looks much, much more modern, in particular at the front here with this integrated sunroof and flush-fitting triple front window. Beneath that, you'll find not one but two lockers, and we'll find out why shortly. Here on the off side, there's storage space for your outdoor paraphernalia, and on the near side, there's space for two gas bottles. Moving down the side of the van, well, not only are there brand new graphics, but there's also some new suppliers. Instead of a Truma gas point, we've got a Whale one for your outdoor barbecue. And there's an external locker with, inside it, a 230 volt point. I particularly like the treatment of the glazing on the door. It looks really quite smart. Well, it's great that it looks different, but let's find out what kind of changes are made inside. The first thing to strike you is the simply enormous panoramic front window. I think it's the largest I've ever seen in a caravan. It stretches the full width of the van. And it's at the front here that you start to realise the reasoning behind those twin lockers at the nose of the van. It means that this central chest can be pushed right to the front, which means a lot more lounging space in the lounge itself, with no chest intruding into your legroom. It's a very nice place to put your knickknacks and books and things on this front shelf too. Now, often with these front shelf designs, you do end up with a bit of a stepped coffee table, but not so in this Coachman. There's a rather nifty bit of design gone on here. Pull out the table and it pops up into place. And it's fairly sturdy when it's there too. To put it away, you simply pull it out and it drops down automatically and away it goes. It's a rather funky bit of design. I do think these sofas are an attractive fabric as well. They're very comfortable and they're very soft. Now, as well as that central chest, there's plenty of other storage options. Overhead, there's not one, not two, but three lockers. Two of them featuring a new crank design and one small corner locker. And then underneath the sofas, there's plenty of space for all your bedding. It's just a bit of a shame there are no drop-down flaps to access that space. You've got to lift up the sofa bases, although they are on gas struts. The sofas themselves are a decent length and they're very comfortable. I particularly like this new fabric. It's really soft to the touch. They're probably a little bit short to be used as single beds, but it's very easy to turn this into a double by pulling out the slats and rearranging the cushions, and it's a very good sized double too. I particularly like the reading lights. You get one in each corner and they're touch sensitive. One for a nightlight and another to read. Even the baby of the VIP range, this 460 with its front lounge end washroom layout, is absolutely loaded with kit. We've got Aldi wet central heating, of course, and just inside the doorway here, a little heated cupboard, which is just the place to put your wet shoes so that they're dry next time you need them. I like this little alcove here, which has been brought over from the Pastiche and the Vision ranges. It's a great place to store your phone and your keys, so you can have it charging with this socket, and it's perfectly placed for when you want to leave the van. Over here on the near side, there's a useful storage cupboard alongside the fridge, and above that, there's a cutlery drawer and a fantastic sideboard. It's a really good size. The only criticism might be if you like to put your TV on the sideboard here, and of course there's all the sockets you need to do so, it's a little bit high set. But if that's the case, well, you can always put it on the front shelf. There's another set of aerial sockets, 12 volt and 230 volt there too. Overhead, we've got a microwave in its new flush housing and some useful shelves. And one thing that is great to see is a couple of USB points. Everyone likes those for charging devices. Over here on the off side of the van, well, is a really large kitchen space. There's plenty of worktop. You're not going to need a pop-up worktop flap, and indeed there isn't one. Underneath, we've got three huge drawers and a good sized cupboard, which has got a detail carried over from last year's Laser range with these wire racks which pull out. They're just the thing for storing vegetables. There's a good sized sink, and it's got a glass cover. Should you need additional worktop space, it'll drop down. And there's a name that will keep reappearing in this VIP, and that is Dometic. Previously the VIP used lots of Thetford goodies, but now it's moved over to Dometic. We've got a Dometic fridge and a Dometic hob and separate oven and grill beneath. It's a dual fuel with 3 gas burners and an electric hot plate. And then overhead there is this new locker design, which is different from those in the main living area, so you can tell you're in the kitchen. Inside there's crockery racks and storage for bottles, and they've got new soft close hinges. Like its Pastiche and Vision siblings, the VIP 460 has got a simply fantastic end washroom. There's a superb shower cubicle. It's simply vast here in the near side corner. It's got a full moulded liner and moulded shelves for your gels and soaps. Behind me on the back wall there's a fantastic vanity unit complete with concealed mirrored cabinet and another cabinet underneath the good sized sink, plus a recessed wall mounted tap. Here in the offside corner, that name Dometic rears its head again, because we've got a Dometic electric flush toilet, and it's a really good domestic size with a square bowl. Above it there's a frosted window, and then beside it, sited nearer to the axle line, sensibly for when you're on tow, there's a fantastic wardrobe. It's massive, lots of hanging space, and there are a couple of drawers underneath. And as if that wasn't enough, there is a small wardrobe alongside the shower, which is also where you'll find the freestanding lounge table. Replacing something as iconic as the VIP was never going to be an easy task, but Coachmans certainly seems to have pulled it off. This VIP 460 has the luxury feel and spec to separate it from lowlier models in the Coachman portfolio. And with those modern new looks, it also has the style to take the fight to Swift's Conqueror and elegance too. South Wales Touring Park is a small, adults-only site, ideally located just a mile off the M4 in mid-South Wales. And even on a cloudy day like today, the views are absolutely spectacular. Also known as Llwynfan Farm and South Wales Caravan Park, the park won the Best Small Site Award in our 2015 Top 100 Sites Guide, and keeps its place in the poll for 2017. Its key features are the fact that it's small, with just 25 pitches in total, which means it offers a very personal service, and it's part of the Tranquil Park scheme, so no screaming children or bikes with stabilisers to contend with. It also helps if your host is as house-proud as Highwell, the site owner.
Before everybody turns up, I first of all rake all the pitches so all the stones go the same way. Cut the grass around and make sure everything's nice so it looks as if nobody's been on the pitch before you. And then we give everybody a welcome pack. So in the welcome pack you have Welsh tea and Welsh coffee. If people stay for more than 7 nights they have a Welsh chocolate caravan. And in the welcome pack then you have local information. So a little bit about the park itself, where the nearest taps are, fire extinguishers and so forth. And also then we have information about where the local pub is, local vets, local shops. Also then we have information about the walks in the area. And it's just a nice little pack to introduce you to the area.
As well as ours, the park has won a whole clutch of awards for its services and facilities. And its location in the middle of South Wales means that the site is a great place to stay when exploring the unspoilt beaches and countryside around Swansea and Carmarthenshire. And if you're relying on public transport, there are 2 bus stops close to the entrance that take you into Llanelli or Swansea, where you'll find shopping, culture and history. But you don't have to go off-site if it's scenery and peace and quiet you're after.
Oh, it's
just so quiet, isn't it?
It's fabulous. It's tranquil. It's advertised as tranquil, and it really, really is. No kids, dogs friendly, which means our little rescues can enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
They've got an enclosed area
paddock
down
over
there.
there.
They've got the paddock there they can enjoy in. Look over there. Look at the
Beautiful
coastline.
views.
Look at the views. They've
And-
got the cleanest. I will swear they've got CCTV in the shower block.
Yeah, they have.
Because the
yeah.
minute you come out, they're there clearing up.
They are.
I've never seen anywhere like it.
And we can confirm that the bathrooms are absolutely spotless, with separate blocks for toilets and showers. They even have their own embroidered hand towels. Plus there's a washer and dryer on site too. All 15 touring pitches are hard standing and of a good size, with 5 standard pitches offering 10 amp electric hookup and 10 serviced pitches with electric, mains water and grey waste disposal. All service pitches have a picnic bench and a nightlight, and thanks to a clever raking of the site, disguised by attractive flower beds, each pitch has an uninterrupted view over the top of the other vans. There's no shop, but the small reception carries a basic supply of essentials if you forget tea bags, coffee, chocolate or loo roll. Other touches that set this site apart include the possibility to hire a car and to have it delivered directly to your pitch, a visiting alternative therapist offering head massages and reflexology, as well as a dog sitting service so that you can enjoy a day out and leave your pet in good company.
Well, I think it's a
Lovely.
lovely little site. It's pleasant, it's quiet, which is what we're really looking for, and no kids running around. Quite a lot of dogs.
It has the feel of a nice, clean, tidy little site, beautifully looked after.
We definitely recommend this place, wouldn't we?
Oh.
It's mainly because, well, there just isn't, there's plenty to do here. I can't see what anybody wouldn't like about it. It's got everything that anybody would want. Even if you're not dog friendly, it's still got loads of places you can go to. I just can't. Over the years, we've been touring everywhere, and this by far is the one we come to. We keep coming back.
Now this Swift badge tells you that you're looking at one of the best designed caravans on the road today. But the pleasing aerodynamic curves of this 2018 model aren't from the portfolio topping elegance. No, this is from the entry-level Sprite. Now Sprite may be Swift Group's affordable caravan range, but there's nothing down market about the 2018 offering. Last season's goldy graphics have gone to be replaced by this smart new teal scheme. And that's in addition to these extruded silver letters, which reference the smart new alloy wheels. You'll also notice feeding off the wheel arch is a new side impact resistant skirt system. Very good indeed. There's also a few improvements on the back panel, a new high-level brake light, new grab handles and new LED light clusters for better visibility in poor weather. So let's have a look at some of the changes in detail for 2018 on the family-friendly 6-berth, the Major 6. Wow, it's all changed for 2018 in Sprite. Just look at all this new styling. In recent years, Swift has favoured darker cabinetwork and brown seating, which certainly hides the dirt well for family use. But this is a major step forward. In fact, the aesthetic has been borrowed from one of the company's successful motorhome ranges, but you have to say it's very cheerful indeed. And just look at some of the attention to detail, like this particularly good curve. Loving that. And just look at the way the sunroof surround flows into the optional front skylight. Now that's attention to detail. Now the Major 6 has been a previous winner in our Tour of the Year awards, so we know that every single centimetre in this van has been put to very good use. For 2018, the soft furnishing scheme is called Tyrian, and it looks very smart indeed. Elsewhere in the lounge, there's all the features that you would expect to find, including your centre chest with the extendable flap, which also produces a good base for a television. Connections are here in the binnacle with 2 main sockets right there. Up above there are 4 overhead lockers, and a new feature for 2018 are these little quarter light lockers at the front with a positive catch, so very good for storing everyday items. And of course there's plenty of space in this lounge to flop out in. And at meal times you've got options. Either slot into the side dinette or sit around this folding table in the lounge. Now the kitchen is well specified for this price point. You get a round sink with a smart mixer tap. Next to that, 3 gas burners atop a separate oven and grill. You also have a 110-litre dual fuel fridge with separate freezer compartment. Up above for storage, a pair of overhead lockers, a dedicated cutlery drawer and a cupboard underneath that. Now the microwave oven comes as part of the Diamond Pack, as does the alloy wheels we mentioned earlier. You also get a pair of scatter cushions, a CD radio and a sliding door fly screen. Now there isn't actually masses of worktop in the kitchen, you can argue, but you do get the table in the dinette as a fallback option. Now the washroom is fairly straightforward, with a square sink under a frosted window and a half-length mirror. You also get a swivel loo, of course. Now the shower compartment is fully lined and comes with an Eco Camel Orbit showerhead for optimum water efficiency, and it also has a clever latch for the bifold door. Now, sleeping spaces for your children are well provided for here in the Major 6, courtesy of these two comfortable bunks on the near side. Now, there's a reading light in each one, plus the little blighters get their own window too. Now, should you wish to go touring with your children's friends, and that obviously is a big if, you can cater for them overnight by popping them here in the dinette bunks, which make up quite easily and look perfectly comfortable from where I'm standing. For 2018, Sprite goes forward with 10 models. The 3 Freedoms have been deleted and there's a new Quattro EB coming in. Now, something else we haven't mentioned so far is that for 2018 onwards, Sprite becomes a range under the Swift umbrella rather than a sub-brand. So what better chance to do a relaunch with a fantastic upgrade like the one we've just seen. Now, I haven't seen prices and weights for the 2018 Sprite collection, but I understand that the Major 6 will be slightly heavier than last year's version, probably by about 15 kilograms. So if you're in the market for a stylish, family-friendly 6-berth, then this really could be the year that you put pen to paper on a new Sprite.
I'm afraid that's all we've got time for this week, but don't worry, we'll be back very soon with another packed show. In the meantime, you can keep up with us on Twitter, on Facebook or via our website. And don't forget that Niall Hampton will be along in just a few minutes with Practical Motorhome TV. But for now, from us, that's all this week. See you next week.